Whether you are thinking about becoming a restaurateur or you are already in the business, Michael Politz has written a must-read, The Food and Beverage Magazine's Guide to Restaurant Success. Pick up your copy today at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Books A Million, or wherever fine books are sold.
Food and Beverage Magazine Live, bringing food and beverage to life, with your hosts, James Beard Award winner Jennifer English and Food and Beverage Magazine publisher Michael Politz. Featuring leaders in the hospitality, branded food and beverage, and CPG industries, many of whom are Jennifer and Michael's friends in the business. For an informal and informative conversation where friends in the business share the latest intel, ideas, and best practices. Live, juicy inside scoop from the tastemakers, newsmakers, bread bakers, drink shakers, spoon lickers, clam diggers, farms, foodies, and friends of the food and beverage magazine world. Here are your hosts, Jennifer English and Michael Politz.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Jennifer English, and I'm the editor-at-large of Food and Beverage Magazine. And as I look back on my career, and I look at my friends who are my friends in the business, there are very few who I adore more than our guest today. His name is Tracy Nieporent, and he's here today in his role as chairman, soon to be chairman emeritus of the NYC and Company Restaurant Committee. And they are the producers and creators of the original NYC Restaurant Week, celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. I want you to imagine going back 30 years to the world of restaurants as it existed then. That's kind of pre-Food Network and pre-internet and pre-everything. It was a different time. It was a different world. And great restaurants, legendary restaurants, the kinds of restaurants and chefs that won James Beard honors were usually the places that required reservations and had tablecloths and fine dining and may have had a waiting time to get a reservation. They were in demand, and they were, in fact, very fine indeed. New York, like every place on the planet, changed since then. But one of the reasons we've come to love New York City as the destination it is for fine dining and modern dining is because Restaurant Week allowed us to expand our access to places that were worth visiting, going out of your way for, and discovering. It also gave us access that we might not have had otherwise. Maybe these restaurants were expensive and maybe they were never available. And all of a sudden we had a weekend time where we, the common man like me, could go and have a great meal at a legendary restaurant, either a lunch or a dinner. Price Fix, 3 courses. It started in 1992, and the price for Restaurant Week initially was just $19.92. This was the genius idea of a committee of restaurateurs who not only love their city, but live. Hospitality is in their DNA and love being hosts to us all. As a partner and owner in the Myriad restaurant group with his brother Drew Nieporent, Tracy Nieporent operates some of the most legendary restaurants in the world, including Tribeca Grill, the beloved Montrachet, and the multi-award winning Nobu. He joins us now to talk about this year's 30th anniversary NYC and Company Restaurant Week. Tracy, hello, Tracy Nieporent.
Hello, Jennifer English. It's so good to be joining you today. It's an exciting time, 30 years. Where does the time go?
What's so funny is I don't think in terms of decades like that, but in fact, as we were talking, as a prelude to this conversation, I realized that you and I have been talking about food and have been friends for 22 years. And in the time that I've known, we've become good friends, and you're a lovely human, and I'm grateful to you for all the kindness you've shown me and hospitality you've shown me over the years. But you are a legendary host, and you really are always thinking about hospitality and making people feel welcome. And it is kind of exciting and surprising to think we've known each other that long, and this has been going on that long. And it gives me the chance to say not only thank you, but congratulations on 30 years as the restaurant committee for NYC and Company and for the Restaurant Week. So
You're very kind to say
you.
you're very kind to say everything that you just said, and I think that the reason for our longevity is that we've tried to show hospitality. We really genuinely enjoy the work that we do. We love greeting the public. We love giving them great dining experiences. It's a challenge every day to get up and keep the standards high, and to have everybody motivated to go out there and do a wonderful job and create memories for people. And that's what we try to do. In 30 years, 1992 was a big year in New York. It was a difficult year in many ways, but the Democratic Convention was there. We were looking for a way to create some excitement in the city. And Tim Zagad, Joe Baum, and some other people, including myself and the committee of restaurateurs, we all got together and came up with an idea to have 3 courses for $19.92 for lunch at really top-notch restaurants. It became basically the basis for restaurant weeks now that exist all over the country and all over the world. But in New York, it was the original idea, and to be able to do it well for over 30 years and set a standard and a bar of excellence, it's something we're very proud of.
The hospitality industry is also and alternatively known as a service industry. And as stewards of your experience and as people in service to our guests and our industry, you and I sit on the same side of the playing field, and we love this game, and we love this business, and we love the people in it. And I want to, before we really start talking about Restaurant Week, talk about some of the things that we love about this business that post-COVID are worth reminding each other about. Because as we face a future with robot pizza makers and burger flippers, and we look at, delivery, 60% of our food coming in delivery, we're looking at the front of the house becoming an endangered species. We're looking at things and we're wondering, how can we be in service to remind people of what we don't want to lose moving forward? What are the things about our service industry, our hospitality industry, that are really post-COVID worth reminding everybody about?
Well, just the sense of community that we can all have when we all get together with our family, our friends, our colleagues, to be together. We've all been isolated for a few years by necessity. And now there's a great desire to be out and about again and together with people, and to be with people personally, and to enjoy each other's company, and to have civility, and be able to discuss all the crazy things that are going on in the world in a nice setting with good food, a comfortable chair, gracious service, a little 2-hour vacation from all of the anxieties of the world. It's a wonderful thing to be able to experience, and I don't think it will ever go out of style. And it's something that we feel very strongly about, that when you walk in the door to one of our restaurants, we want you to be treated extremely well, like family. We want you to leave with a little jump in your step and a desire to want to come back and visit us again. And that's really the secret to why we're still around after all these years. People can make a lot of choices and go to a lot of different places. There certainly are a variety of options, and everybody likes to try the new places. But there's a reason why some restaurants stand the test of time, and that's because no matter what the circumstances, the highs, the lows, all the crazy things that go on, they maintain a certain standard of excellence, a commitment to it, a commitment to the guest, and to training the staff well, and to treating everybody well, and to really have a sense of family, so that there's continuity, and that every year, even, no 2 meals are identical. They're like snowflakes. But yet you can set the bar at a certain level where you have a certain expectation when you come into a restaurant that you're going to have something that is special to you, and something that's meaningful to you, and worth the time and investment that you made. And then, people have to travel to get to a restaurant. And so when they get there, they really want to feel comfortable, and they want to make it certain that it was worth their effort.
New York City is really good at having a few things that invites the world to come and celebrate with it. One is obviously New Year's Eve and dropping the ball on Times Square. Another's is the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And I'm going to argue that for foodies, right up there with the dropping the ball on New Year's and the celebration in Times Square, that if you're a foodie, Restaurant Week is one of the things that you say, it's on my bucket list. Going to New York City for Restaurant Week lets me go to a bunch of different places and explore different food. This year, the 30th anniversary, your last as chairman. You're going to become chairman emeritus of the NYC and Company Restaurant Committee and Restaurant Week at the end of this particular term. Talk a little bit about how important Restaurant Week has become to New York.
Well, I think it's one of the biggest attractions that we have in the city, and for 30 years, it's something that people look forward to. Now, this is the longest Restaurant Week we've ever had, 30 years, so we're doing it for 30 days. We have over 600 restaurants, which is by far the largest number that we've ever had. We're offering price points for 3 courses at $30, $45, and $60. So there's a wide variety of restaurants. It's very affordable for everybody. We're in all 5 boroughs of the city. There are over. Is this
the first time that's been the case?
No, we've when we first started back 30 years ago, it was very Manhattan centric. So over time, it's become broader based, but the density of restaurants in the outer boroughs is much greater now, particularly Brooklyn. We're in 85 different neighborhoods, and we're serving 60 different cuisines. So I always tell people you can travel the world and have an international experience in New York without ever leaving the environs of the city.
60 different cuisines is a really important point I want to focus on for a second, because where we are food-wise globally, and especially in the U.S., as a reflection of the James Beard Awards, we just saw those a couple of weeks ago, we are a very different food nation today than we were 30 years ago. And excellence is being redefined through different cuisines as well. I think Restaurant Week has always given us a glimpse of what's really happening in the industry, maybe no more so than this year. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because that's exciting to me.
Well, New York is a very international city. We always have been. We've always been a melting pot. We're a gateway to the country. We have the Statue of Liberty in our harbor, and we embrace immigration here in New York. We don't. We're not opposed to it, as some people seem to be these days. Yeah. And people come from all over the world, and they bring their cultures with them and their cuisines, and it's a benefit to all of us because we get to experience things that are very authentic and really things that we would not be exposed to otherwise. And the thing about New York, that how the song says, if you make it here, you can make it anywhere. The cost of entry is high, but the public really demands excellence here and wants it. That's the reason why people want to live here and visit here. So we take dining very seriously. Now, we had the original Restaurant Week. It's a concept that's evolved now all over the country, and everybody does it. And there's good food, in every corner of the country. But I would still submit that New York is still the gold standard when it comes to great food. That because we take it so seriously, because we have such a variety and we have so many people from all over the world representing us, that New York really kind of sets the tone for a lot of other places in the country. And I always say that, you come to New York, enjoy the quality, the variety, and the hospitality that makes New York City the dining capital of the world. Because that's the way we feel. That's what we want to live up to.
I know our publisher, Michael Politz, and I would put a vote or two in for Las Vegas being a very fine place to eat as well. Because Food and Beverage Magazine, of course, is based there. We've got 14 million readers every month. And for those people who are in the industry who have stuck with it through the pandemic, ridden out this difficult period of global constraint, and now on the other side are facing the world as the future of food 3.0 and the future of food, what are some of the things that you're seeing emerge as a post-COVID comment about the future of food that you can witness within the context of NYC and Company's Restaurant Week?
Well, I think that people are very adventurous. They want to eat different things. They want to try new things. Um, they want to sample dishes and ingredients, things that they've never had before. The supply chain has a lot to say about what we can and can't get. Everybody's dealing now with high cost of goods, so we're all struggling with that. But having said that, we all want to put something on the plate that is really appealing and that is inspiring and that will bring people in with a great deal of enthusiasm. So I think that the other thing is that hospitality is never going to go out of style. We certainly have technology now that is all over restaurants.
Right.
And there's a lot of ways that you can use technology very efficiently. There's also ways that you can hide behind it. And we feel like we still like having somebody answer the phone and talk to you, even though you can make reservations in other ways. We still like the contact that we have with people. We still want to greet people when they walk in the door. We want to have that interaction. That's something that's very important. That's what hospitality is. It's not processing people. It's treating everybody as a special guest, a unique guest, somebody who is important to you and who you want to nurture while they're in your restaurant, and you want to welcome back, and you want to know as much as you can about them so that you can really fulfill their needs when they're dining with you. And also, we have certain guests that come in a lot, and we know what they like, and we're able to do some extra things and offer additional hospitality. So that never goes out of style. I think that's something that's really important. Everybody goes out to eat wants to feel important. They want to feel catered to. They don't want to feel anonymous, and I think that's something that we work very hard to accomplish.
I want to talk about what it means to be a restaurateur today, and there are people.
You just have to open up a vein. That's what it comes down to.
Isn't that true?
It's not easy.
I know, right? Easy. Like there are literally people that are going to watch this that are restaurateurs, and they're maybe in the middle of nowhere. They could be in a big city or a little city. They could be in a great food town like Providence, Rhode Island, or they could be in, Provo, Utah, or they could be somewhere in the middle where there may not be a scene, a restaurant industry. What can people that are in the restaurant business, caterers, food, private chefs, restaurants, diners, what can anybody that's in the restaurant business learn from what you guys have done in New York at Restaurant Week and borrow that to support their business, borrow that as a master class, as a lesson? What are the real lessons that anybody can use from New York Restaurant Week?
My brother always says that professional knowledge is very important, that you really have to learn your craft. You have to learn the basics of the restaurant business and how to do things, how to cost things out. You have to realize that it's a business. You can't do it by the seat of the pants. It's something, you can have some intuitive thoughts about things, but ultimately you have to be professional and you have to make the numbers work. Beyond that, sometimes you have to have a little bit of luck, and you have to have good fortune and to be at the right place at the right time. You have to have a work ethic because things don't just happen by accident. It's important to go out there every day and put forward your best effort. The one thing about COVID that was so different is I had never had more than 2 weeks of vacation in my entire career. All these years, 30, 40 years of working. Suddenly COVID comes around and you have an enforced vacation. And it was like, this is so weird. I have to go to work, and for a period of time, there was no place to go. So that was kind of strange. You have to be hands-on. You can't be away for a long period of time. Having said that, you do have to spend some time away to clear your mind and to do research and refresh your mind and your body and come up with new and exciting ideas. But every day you have to get up and do the best job you can. And if you love the business, it's hard work, but it's not a chore. I think for people who they fancy themselves greeting people and they think of restaurant business as the glamour side of things, and really it's a blue collar business that takes a lot of moving parts. It takes motivating a lot of people to work very hard. It just takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of problem solving. You know, we're having hot weather here in New York right now, and if the air conditioning goes down in the restaurant, there's a lot of scrambling that goes on to make people feel comfortable and to keep things moving. And things will always happen. So a lot of what happens every day is you get up and you figure out, you try to anticipate problems so you can solve them beforehand. But if something happens during the course of the meal, you have to be professional and you have to deal with it and try to provide the best result that you can for people.
I want to talk about the fact that if you're anywhere in the country, you could do a virtual restaurant week and borrow some of the concepts from New York's Restaurant Week, where you serve 3 courses, its price speaks, and have a limited number of seats, and have a access point that allows people who may not have come to your restaurant before a chance to come for the first time, or to reward your regulars and try something new on the menu. And it's sometimes easy to find a favorite dish and then get stuck in that food rut. And these are the kinds of weeks that give you access and permission to try different things as a diner and as a guest. And it's an opportunity for restaurateurs as hosts to come up with a novel way of inviting more people to participate and giving them access. To me, I think it's a great way. Can you give everybody the website for Restaurant Week?
Yes, it's nycgo.com, and you can do /Restaurant Week. The website has a wealth of information. It has all the restaurants. It has the menus that restaurants are serving. It also has designations for different restaurants that are kind of interesting, and it breaks things out by neighborhood. It really is. It's very well done, and it's
here
the 30th anniversary. I got this little 30th anniversary pin.
Oh, hang on. We'll show that in a second. We've got pulled up. I don't know if you can see it, but we've got your own group, Myriad Restaurant Group. Will you talk a little bit about your restaurants? Because I know you're here in a very broad sort of civic-minded capacity, but we really should celebrate the fact that Myriad Restaurant Group is one of the great restaurant organizations in the world. And let's celebrate what you do, and because it's hard work and you've got an incredible team.
Well, I thank you for that. The Tribeca Grill, we're now in our 32nd year. Wow. We just won the grand award from the Wine Spectator again for the 22nd year in a row, which means that we have a wine list that's world class. That's the highest designation that they give to a wine list. I think there's only like 90 restaurants in the entire country that have that, and only about, I think, 9 or 10 in New York City. So that's something we're very proud of. Nobu, obviously, here in New York, and Nobu's all over the country now, but we're responsible for Nobu downtown, and also Nobu 57, and also Nobu in London, and they do exceedingly well. The food is wonderful. Batard is in the space that used to be Montrachet. We're serving really good food there. We have a Michelin star, and we're really doing really good work. I mean, the hospitality is great. The food's great. We're maintaining a high standard. We never get bored. There could be a sameness, or we're getting up today. Let's make the donuts. We're not like that. We really look at each day as being an exciting day to serve a new group of people. It's like when Bruce Springsteen says, every night when I go out to play a concert, I may be playing to people who've never seen me before, and they don't want to hear about my reputation. They're going to have the experience right now. And I think that's the feeling that we have too. You're coming into our restaurant tonight. It doesn't matter what we've done over the last 30 years. It's what we do over the next 2 to 3 hours that's really going to impress you or not. So that's what we have to get up and get ready for, and do the best that we can. And I think we've been doing that for a long time. So we're going to keep doing it as long as we can.
We're going to pull up the NYC and company's website, nycgo.com/Restaurant Week, because it is a great resource. You said, we're going to reiterate, over 600 restaurants have signed up to participate in this year's Restaurant Week, with literally all of the boroughs of New York represented. You've got over 80 different cuisines, different styles of restaurant. And what's most important is that there is something for everybody. And I wanted to give you the chance to look back as your term as the co-founder and chairman of Restaurant Week and the restaurant committee comes to a close after 30 years of extraordinary service, for which we are enormously grateful to you for being a leadership by example sort of host. Talk a little bit about this, because we've got it pulled up now for everybody to see. How has it changed? And is this what you dreamed of? Can you imagine 30 years ago that this is where this would be today?
Well, of course, 30 years ago, I was ordering off the children's menu and sitting on a phone book so I could be at eye level with everybody. But I don't think any of us would have ever imagined 30 years. It's just hard to fathom. But I think we've been able to evolve and add things and change things over the years. That's kept things vital and exciting and has invited more people to the table. We're offering more options now. It's much more democratic than it was at the very beginning. Although a lot of the restaurants that were there at the very beginning, like Tribeca Grill and Union Square Cafe and Gallagher's Steakhouse and Barbetta and the Palm, they're still with us, and they're still part of this year's Restaurant Week. So in an industry where places come and go, to have that longevity is quite impressive. That means you've been making people happy for a long time.
We saw the MasterCard logo as one of your sponsors. As we emerge into a future of food that looks a little different, you've got to have tech partners and finance partners that make this all work. We just want to give them a shout out. And there's some things that they've incorporated into the program this year, right, where you get some points and some access. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because we want to say thank you to MasterCard for being so supportive of our industry.
Well, what it comes down to is the more you spend, the more you get back in terms of rebates. So, the idea is to try to dine out as often as possible. They've been very supportive. So we obviously want people to go out, and this year it's going to be 5 weeks, 30 days.
Wow.
So there's ample opportunities for people here in New York and for visitors from all over the country and all over the world to come in and be able to dine during Restaurant Week. If they come in 1 week, when it was a shorter program, they might not be in town the week that it's happening. But this summer, it's going to be going on until August 21st. So
let's go back up to the top of that page, because I think this is super exciting. This is nycgo.com/restaurants. This is the 30th anniversary of New York City Restaurant Week. Tracy Nieporent, thank you so much for your service, for your friendship, for everything you've done for our industry, and for coming and making time to tell everybody about it.
Jennifer, I love you, and I am so happy to be with you today. And all I can tell you is come to New York and enjoy the quality, variety, and hospitality that makes New York City a restaurant capital of the world. We'd love to have you, and we'd love to have all of your listeners. So thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Bon
How did you meet these fantastic men? Ian, Paul, it's so lovely to have you here with us. Welcome. And I raise my glass to welcome you. Welcome. The incredible Vanessa Hudgens and Oliver Trevina. Hello and welcome.
Hi.
Cheers.
Hi. How you doing?
I want to talk about the fact that the incredible Padma Lakshmi is joining us. Our extraordinary friend Diane Meena joins us from her home. Tower, who joins us today from his home in the beautiful Merida, Mexico. He joins us now, Chef Ming Tsai. Aloha and welcome.
What's going on, Jen? Good to see you.